Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's cut right to it. The whole process for the Abu Dhabi DOH Nursing Exam can feel, well, a little confusing, right? So in the next few minutes, we're going to break it all down into a super simple step-by-step guide. Let's get you started on that path to your new career. So, you're a registered nurse and you're dreaming of working in Abu Dhabi or Al Ain? Fantastic. But before you can make that dream a reality, there's one really important hurdle you've got to clear first. And that hurdle, it's the Department of Health exam, the DOH. Now, you might still hear people call it by its old name, the HAAD exam. Don't worry, it's the exact same thing. Honestly, the best way to think of it is as the key, the one key that's going to unlock your entire nursing career in the Emirate. So in this explainer, we're going to build that roadmap for you. We'll walk through the whole journey together, right from the very beginning, like are you even eligible, all the way to creating the perfect study plan to make sure you pass. All right, let's get right into it. First things first, we have to check if you're even eligible. This is checkpoint number 1, and trust me, it is absolutely non-negotiable. Okay, here's the checklist. You'll need a Bachelor of Science in Nursing or a recognized diploma. You also need at least 2 years of recent clinical experience, and that recent part is key. Of course, you need a valid nursing license from your home country, a certificate of good standing, and your basic life support, or BLS certification. You've got to get all of these ducks in a row before you do anything else. And that brings me to probably the most important document at this stage, the PQR. That stands for Professional Qualification Requirements. Look, if you do one thing today, make it this. Go to the official DOH website and download the latest PQR document. Why? Because these standards can change, and you have to make sure your qualifications line up perfectly with what they're asking for right now. Okay, so you've checked the PQR, you've got all your documents, and you're eligible. Awesome. Now we get to the fun part, the registration process. It's actually a very clear, structured path, so let's just break it down. And here it is, the whole journey in 6 simple steps. Step 1, you've already checked the PQR-KR and gathered your documents. Step 2, you get everything verified through a service called Dataflow. That's called Primary Source Verification, or PSV. After that, you submit your application online to DOH, you get that exam eligibility email, you book your exam with Pearson VUE, and then you take the test. Just follow these steps in order, don't skip ahead, and you'll be golden. All right, let's talk money for a second, because you'll want to be prepared for the cost. The verification part with Dataflow, that's going to be somewhere around 900 to 1,000 AED. Then the DOH application adds another, say, 200 to 300 on top of that. Now, just a heads up, this doesn't even include the actual exam fee itself, but it's really important to have this initial amount ready to go. So you've done all that, you're registered, fantastic. But now for the big question, what does the exam itself actually look like? What are you walking into? Let's peel back the curtain and look at the structure. Okay, here are the key stats you need to know. It's a computer-based test, a CBT. You'll have about 150 multiple choice questions to get through in 2.5 hours. Now, they don't actually publish the official passing score, which is a little tricky, but the general consensus is that you should be aiming for somewhere in that 65 to 70% range just to be on the safe side. Okay, now this slide is gold. This is your strategy guide right here. Just look at the breakdown. Adult Med-Surg is a whopping 35% of the exam. That's huge. So this isn't just a list of what's on the test, it's literally a blueprint telling you where to focus the majority of your energy and your study time. Here's something really important to know, especially if you're looking at jobs across the UAE. There are actually 3 different health authorities. The DOH exam, the one we're talking about, is for Abu Dhabi and Al Ain. If you want to work in Dubai, that's the DHA exam. And for the other Emirates, it's MOHAP. The key thing to remember is that while the application process is different for each, the actual nursing content on the exams is very similar. Okay, so you know what the exam looks like, you know how to register. Now let's talk about the study plan. How do you actually prepare for this thing? We've put together a pretty solid 8-week plan to get you from here to exam ready. So we've broken it down into these manageable 2-week chunks. See how it works? Weeks 1 and 2, you build your foundation. Focus on adult nursing. Then weeks 3 and 4, you start layering in the specialties like peds and OB. The real game changer is around weeks 5 and 6. That's when you have to really hammer down on things like pharmacology and start doing full-length mock tests. Then those last 2 weeks, that's all about final revisions, hitting your weak spots, and getting really comfortable with the timing. And finally, let's talk about what not to do. I think this is just as important as having a study plan. These are the common pitfalls that can trip up even the most experienced nurses. So let's make sure you can see them coming and avoid them. Here they are, the top 5 reasons people fail. First, please do not rely on those old, outdated exam dumps you find online. They're just not worth it. Second, you have to have a plan. Third, and this is a big one, don't neglect pharmacology and med safety. And for sure, you have to practice with a timer. Running out of time is a rookie mistake you can totally avoid. And last but not least, when you get a question wrong on a practice test, don't just move on. Dig in and figure out why it was wrong. That's where you'll learn the most. So to wrap things up, here's the bottom line. Is the exam challenging? Yeah, for sure. But is it passable? Absolutely. Success on this test has nothing to do with luck. It's all about having a clear blueprint, which you now have, using a good question bank, and just being disciplined enough to follow your study plan. So there you have it. We've literally laid out the entire roadmap for you, from that very first eligibility check all the way to your final review session. The plan is right here in front of you. Now, the only thing left to do is to take that first step on your Abu Dhabi nursing journey.